Hey everybody, today we are going to talk about Stake and Kick, two of the largest platforms on the internet right now that are coincidentally owned by the same group of people, and how they used each of these individual businesses to benefit each other and build one of the most impressive and profitable businesses in the entire world today. My name is Praying for Exits. I run a venture capital fund called Exits Capital, as well as a media business called Exits Media, where we focus on telling the most interesting and unique stories about technology, founders, and the companies that they build. Stake and Kick was founded by two guys, one named Ed Craven and the other named Bijan Tehrani. The first place that Ed and Bijan collaborated was on Counter-Strike skins gambling, which is an activity where players use virtual goods known as skins as a form of currency to not only bet on the outcome of professional matches, but on other types of gambling games. These skins are cosmetic items that could be used to customize the appearance of their weapons in-game. They do not necessarily affect the gameplay, but have become extremely popular and were extremely popular in the early 2000s for their aesthetic appeal and rarity. Bijan and Ed owned one of the earliest Counter-Strike gambling skin websites, where they realized that the means by which to effectively trade Counter-Strike skins was using Bitcoin. People would put Bitcoin on as a proxy for real-world money and begin trading skins in between each other, thereby amassing large sums of Bitcoin off the back of finding the rarest and coolest weapons. Bijan and Ed took a small part of each individual transaction, thereby amassing large amounts of cryptocurrency themselves and effectively operating one of the earliest gambling platforms for cryptocurrency. Bijan and Ed were super young when they figured this out, both under 18 years old, and ended up amassing 6 and 7 figures in Bitcoin when Bitcoin was trading under $100 a coin. After seeing a lot of success with their Counter-Strike gambling platform, Bijan and Ed became fascinated with another game called RuneScape, where people would battle each other with characters in a duel arena and stake, quote-unquote, online gold against each other, which had a real-world value that, again, people began to trade Bitcoin for. Bijan and Ed operated one of the largest RuneScape staking platforms, which is where the name stake is derived from, where people would deposit Bitcoin to purchase online gold and then go into RuneScape and bet it against each other in a variety of different types of chance games. This continued to grow their Bitcoin positions and would eventually move into Ethereum as well, where Bijan and Ed became the single largest owners of Bitcoin and Ethereum related to RuneScape in the world. Off the back of this, and utilizing many of the tailwinds that cryptocurrency allows, especially in online transactions, they realized that there was no one single dedicated casino experience for people who wanted to bet Bitcoin and Ethereum on different types of games, whether they be table games like roulette or blackjack, or more complicated games like slots or anything that you might find in a normal casino. There was no one single dedicated place to do this online yet, and while there were other competitors early along in this journey, many of the platforms were pretty boring, did not really have a great gaming experience, and were pretty one-dimensional in their own offerings. Ed and Bijan were able to take advantage of laws in Australia that made gambling much easier to build online versus other places like the United States and the United Kingdom. In 2016, Bijan and Ed picked up a Curaçao gaming license, which allowed them to build an online casino that operated globally and began to take deposits for Bitcoin and Ethereum for global players, allowing them to play table games and slots 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Stake.com rapidly grew into the largest gambling platform in the world. Users at Stake were able to transact in a variety of different currencies, from Bitcoin to Ethereum to Solana and many other smaller coins, and able to make bets on their favorite sports, table games, and casino games like slots. One of the largest customer acquisitions channels at the time was Twitch.com, where they would sponsor large Twitch streamers, would broadcast their gambling to their audiences and show massive wins and losses, which would capture audiences' attention and thereby push their interest into going to gambling on Stake.com. This rapidly grew them into the largest online gambling platform in the world, where they would regularly do over 9 figures of gambling handle per week. However, Twitch soon realized that this was not something that they wanted to keep on their platform and began to ban gambling streamers en masse, quickly shutting down their largest acquisition channel for new gamblers onto their platform. This created a large vacuum for new players on the Stake.com website, and they rapidly had to come up with a new idea to fill in this gap. Bijan and Ed realized that they would actually have to create their own live streaming platform that would allow streamers to stream a wide variety of things that were not readily available on Twitch.com. This rapidly pushed a whole swath of some of the largest creators in the world to go onto Kick.com because they no longer had to fear being banned for doing something small like gambling or cursing or doing any of these things that were not congruent with the Twitch.com terms of service at the time. Within 1 month, Kick.com gained 7 million streamers and rapidly became the first choice for people seeking more freedom of speech and a wider variety of available things that they could do while streaming. Kick.com is now the second largest streaming platform in the world after just 1 year in business. Currently, Ed and Bijan are under 30 years old and own both Kick and Stake.com, which are two of the most trafficked websites on the entire internet. As a result of the success that they've seen on both these platforms, they've been able to do things like purchase a Formula One team, now called Alfa Romeo Stake, be the largest sponsor for Everton Football Club in the Premier League, as well as backing massive and influential stars like Drake, as well as a bunch of other musical artists and internet personalities. One thing that Kick is really well known for is offering some of the largest contracts in the live streaming space. For example, XQC, which was one of Twitch's largest streamers, recently signed a contract for $150 million for 2 years to stream on the Kick platform. Another example is Aiden Ross, who was offered $100 million for 2 years to also stream on the Kick platform. Their contracts represent some of the largest entertainment contracts in the world and indicate how important the streaming ecosystem is to online attention in general. One of the characteristics that have made these founders really successful is the fact that they have consistently been able to be ahead of the curve when it comes to what is the latest and greatest in online streaming and culture. They have built two platforms that people widely recognize around the world that are deeply embedded into internet culture in general. Both Stake and Kick.com are worth multiple billions of dollars, and both Ed and Bijan still own the majority of their business, seeing as they have never raised any outside capital or taken any venture money to build or grow their companies. They have continued to reinvest in the most successful aspects of their business and provide a ton of value to not only their partners, but the people playing and streaming on their platforms. And so that's the story of not only Kick.com, but Stake.com. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing content. We've got plenty more where this came from.